Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check fresh release from Miniart. It is made in 1/35 scale and copies T-34 85 Czechoslovak production. It's early type tank. And as you remember, before we reviewed it as an interior kit, now we have a, let's say, simpler version which does not feature any internal detailing. So some modders will be happy to hear this because they don't want to work with extra parts, they don't plan to expose anything inside, so that's why they will be happy to get only the external details. That's pretty much all they will need. And we have a commercial sample here, so it means you'll get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. We are going to open it together and see what is actually included here in this nice box. So we have different box art here. Box size is typical. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Then on the side we have some safety information, address of the manufacturer, and also barcode, QR code in case you would like to open the kit page. And here on the opposite side we have marking options. So in total there should be 7 of them, and as you can see these are typical green colored Soviet tanks, but still it will be interesting to know a backstory behind each of them. So let's open it. It's a top opening box, and you can notice that all sprues are sealed into this one plastic bag, and it's already starting to tear apart, as you can see here, so it's not that good, but you can notice that overall packaging is really tight on the height. And here on the bottom we have the assembly manual, so we will check it a bit later. We are going to start with plastic parts, so just give me a second. I need to cut through this plastic bag and open these sprues. And in the meantime, I would like to remind you that you can support us financially. We have special donate button on our website, and we also recently opened the YouTube membership, so if this way will be easier, there is a join button somewhere here, and you can choose out of 3 tiers, so one of them will give you a free kit every month. I think that's really cool perk to get a free kit of your choice every month. So definitely consider it if you want to help us to develop this channel even more. Okay, I'm removing this plastic bag, or actually plastic sprues out of the plastic bag. And first of all we have this small envelope with Miniart logo. As you can see, it's easy to open. Just give me a second to remove the P thread. So here it is, it's unpainted P thread. I would say it's typical for Miniart, so it will be useful for fine details on the tank. And that's really cool because you get it as a standard inclusion in the kit. You don't have to buy any additional accessory sets, so you get a chance to add some fine features without spending extra money, and I think that's really cool. I really appreciate that Miniart still includes P threads out of the box. Not that many brands do this, and I mean that gives some advantage over rivals on the market. Next we go on with a separate plastic bag which features clear plastic sprues and also decals. So first of all I will show you 2 identical plastic frames. These are clear frames, and you can notice that here we have various periscope parts and parts for the headlamps. Molding quality seems to be fine. I don't see any possible issue here, so it's just a matter of careful painting. And here we come to tricky part, because you will have to use your own masks. There are no masks included into this kit, so if you want to cover this part somehow, you will have to cut everything with your own hands, or maybe use some templates again which are not included into this kit. Next we go on with the decals sheet, and here I'm trying to understand why we have a small errata note here. I will show you in a second. Here it is, the small one. Or maybe that's a completely different symbol, because we have colors in a wrong direction, who knows. So if you know why it is like this, write it in the comment section. I will be happy to learn more about it. But I guess we will also learn more once we check the assembly manual. And now we can start with gray plastic sprue. So first one is dedicated to various hull panels, and we can zoom out a bit so that you can see whole hull panel. Here it is, and here we have the top section. Note that it is molded without the glacis plate and without rear armor plate. The same can be said about this engine base section, so it will be assembled out of separate panels. But there is no engine included, so keep it in mind because it's not an interior kit. We also have side panels for the lower hull section and this turret ring which will go here. And everything looks really nice. If we flip it over, you can notice some, I would say, remaining features for internal details, but as I said, we do not have any interior here, so you won't be using any of this. Okay, well, to be honest, you will be using several of them because some parts will be needed for strength of the overall structure. So here, for example, you can see internal walls and columns for the suspension shock absorbers. So with this you will have to be careful while installing them. Also check the alignment of this part so that everything will go together easily. But now you can notice that molding quality seems to be fine. So here I don't have anything to complain about, I would say. Next, I'm trying to understand. Okay, here we have separate plastic sprue. I will show you first this type and then we will move on to another one. So here it is. Here we have main gun, which is molded as a one-piece barrel, but we also have some internal parts for the turret, which might be a nice addition in case you plan to open the turret on your model. And of course it's really good to get some extra parts for interior details. Next we go on with plastic sprue. I guess there will be more of this type, but now I see one. Okay, so let's talk about this one. This kit will be quite interesting now in the video review because there will be some pair sprues, so it will be quite quick, even though amount of sprues was impressive. So here you can see another one. Here we have spare tracks and also Pioneer tools. You can notice that molding quality seems to be fine even on the tiniest parts. I can see a bit of flash around the shovel, but I guess it will be easy to clean it up with a sharp knife, so shouldn't be worried about such thing. And next we have, just give me a second, we have 4 identical plastic frames with various spare parts and also railings on the tank. I would recommend to replace these thin railings with metal wire because it will let you copy some damage in this area and it will be a nice, I would say, touch to your model, especially in 1/35 scale. It will be noticeable. Next we go on with the road wheels. So here I would like to understand whether we have the same type or not, so just give me a sec. Okay, so from what I can see we have the same type. There are 10 sprues of this type, so I will show you one in a second. Well, here for example 5, I guess 5 for each side. And here you can notice that we have one-piece road wheels. So in order to paint them you have to use some masks or maybe template in order to get a nice paint finish. Let's zoom in a bit. And also here you can see this part from the opposite side. They look really nice, so it's just a matter of careful painting and you will be good to go. Next we have idlers. They also come on 2 identical plastic frames. So as you can see we have these guiding pins. They will help you with proper alignment, so again, no questions. And next we go on with 3 identical plastic sprues for fuel tanks. Here they are. I will show you only one so that you won't be confused with mix of various parts. Here it is. I would say overall design is quite standard for this element on the tank, so you get to assemble several halves together. You have separate holders for these fuel tanks, so it's just a matter of careful assembly and you'll be good to go. Inside we have some guiding elements, so no worries, it's not just a plain halves and then you have to, let's say, work around how to join them together. It's way easier than it might seem to be. Okay, next we go on with what? Just give me a sec. So we have two identical plastic frames with, I guess these are also spare fuel. And here you can see that they should be assembled out of separate parts, but here we have middle section molded as a single piece part, which is really surprising. I wonder why fuel tanks were not molded in the same way. It would be cool to get a one piece part of such complex shape, let's say. Next we go on with, so what do we have here? 4 identical plastic sprues, so here is one pair. And next I'll show you only one sprue here, so that you can see that we have various suspension arms, and also we have these torsion bar parts. So they will be handy for a suspension on your tank. So as I said, even though this is not an interior kit, still we get some interior or internal details which are not usually included on the mainstream kits, which are, let's say, touted as a nice T-34 alternatives. Next we have exhaust parts, and here we have quite an interesting design, because as you can see, exhaust is molded separately from the heat cover, which is really cool because it lets you to properly paint and weather this part, then cover it, maybe also do some weathering inside, it will be up to you. And from what I can see on the exhaust cover, we have a minor amount of flash, but it should be easy to clean. And inside you can notice there are guiding pins here, so it will be easy to get the right position out of the box. Okay. Next we go on with two identical plastic, well, actually they're not identical anymore. So here we have one part for road wheels and one part for external details, and as you can see there are a lot of thin parts, so be careful with them because it will be really easy to break them, and then you'll have a funny time trying to repair all this stuff. Okay, or maybe just replace them with metal wire, it will be quicker and easier, and of course final result will be the same, or maybe in some cases even better, we can say it straight. Next we go on here with minor elements, and these ones will be used for external details, so nothing special. We can move on. And next we have another version of the road wheels. Here they are. Frankly speaking, I'm not sure where they will be used. Maybe they are necessary for one of the marking options. We will see in the assembly manual. But there is one more thing. Here we have tensioners, which are also provided on two identical plastic frames. They look nice, so just assemble them together and you'll be good to go. Next we have track sprues. So here we have separate tracks which will have to be assembled together into track links, and I'm trying to count, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so it's more than 10, let's say. Anyway, I will show you only one, because here we have this separate track links. So just give me a moment to place everything aside. Here you can check them from the opposite side. So I would say that's definitely better than a typical vinyl alternative, and of course they will be easier to paint and weather. So I would put a separate plus for that in the kit rating, because not that many T-34 kits offer such nice tracks out of the box. And next we go on with, here we have interconnection between sprues. So here we have two root parts, and now we should zoom out so that you can see everything. Okay, here you can notice these plain panels. These are not extra parts, these are internal inserts. As you can see, there is some details inside. Of course, we have all hatches molded separately, which is also cool, because if you plan to place some figures inside, it will be handy. And last but not the least is this sprue. Just give me a sec. So here it is. Here we get the floor panel for the lower hull section, also engine compartment panel, which I was mentioning before, and note that all panels are molded separately here, so you have to install them one by one. The same goes for the glacis plate, we have all hatches separate, and for the rear armor plate as well. So everything looks really nice. I really like casted surface. For example, here, if we zoom in, you can notice how good it looks, and I think it will benefit from some weathering done, so be ready to do it. And note that we have towing cables here, so I guess it might be useful for modelers who don't want to use metal wire. And next we go on with assembly manual. So here it is. Assembly manual is typical for this brand. Let's close the camera a bit. It's a color printed brochure. We have short list of the features. Here straight away we go on with the marking options, and from what I can see everyone is using the standard wheels. So I'm not sure where this spare wheel will go, but here we have parts map, and again, as usual for Miniart, we do not have any marking of which parts are not used here. Next we start with the lower hull section, so we start with the floor, then we install the suspension elements, side panels. Here we continue with the glacis plate, and next we have some spare tracks which are installed on the glacis plate. You will have to drill some holes here and there, so be careful, drill the right ones, because there are some extras for different versions. So you can get some wrong ones and then you have to fill them in. Next we continue with rear armor plate, and we have the jerry cans here on the rear. Next we have the suspension arms, separate hatches. They will be detailed both inside and outside, which is really cool. Here we have the front mud guards, which are assembled separately. And next we continue with various holders for the side view tanks. Here we have towing cables, so for them you need the metal wire, be ready for that. And note that these fasteners, they will be copied with PE part. Next we continue with more road wheels. Here you can see this option for the variant 6. You install the alternative wheel. Next we have track links, so 72 tracks to be combined together. And here we continue with turret assembly, so it will be slightly detailed inside, but not fully as an interior kit. In total you have to perform 58 steps to have your model ready, and that's already the 4th marking option. Next here we have 5th, and how come we have, so here is the 5th, here we have 6th, 7th, and that's pretty much all. Here we have 2 other kits from the same series. This one was reviewed, this one is coming out soon, so stay tuned. And of course, as for today's kit, it should be already available. You can get it in Modelimex webshop. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such a release here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!